Hey guys, I'm sorry I haven't been posting a lot. I've been kind of busy with school and stuff because, as you guys know, I'm not quite legal age yet. So I'd like to introduce you guys to our brand new 125 gallon tank. So this tank is unbeknownst to you guys, and we've kind of been setting it up in secret. And so this has like all of our biggest fish in there. We have an awesome monster gar. We have this arowana. This was in one of our first videos. Look at how big she's gotten, guys. We also have a knife fish that was in one of our first videos. He's back there kind of hiding behind the rocks. You can see his tail a little bit. There's some huge, well, the biggest ones we've ever had, clown loaches. We know those get much bigger and we're prepared to take care of them. There's an African lungfish right there. I'm not sure if you guys can see it, but he's right there and he's awesome. So that's our first time ever having one of this species. And from what we understand, they kind of look like a wild type axolotl without the gills, which we think is awesome. We also have a koi from one of our older videos. Look at how big he's gotten. Then underneath the koi is a peacock bass. And we're gonna be adding a new monster fish into this tank, guys. So stay tuned to the end to see this monster tank. And right now they're in feeding, which is why there's so many, because these guys eat a ton and they're so cool looking. And I love this tank. This is probably my favorite tank. We also have the dojo right here from one of our older videos. He's gotten a lot bigger from when we first put him in the 75 gallon. So if you guys haven't seen the videos with these monster fish in them, you should go back and see them when we first got them. They were all super tiny and we grew them all out and took really good care of them. And then there's also a turtle. I'm looking for the turtle now and seeing if I can find it because he's awesome. He's a leopard softshell turtle. And they're amazing looking. Actually, he's right there behind the filter, right there. We also are using canister filters on this, and it's a little cloudy, but the visibility is actually really good. And it's already been through its cycle, and it's all good. And so this tank is actually turning out really well, even better than I hoped. And I think it's an awesome tank. And what do you guys think? And so to talk a little bit more about the fish, the koi is from Asia, as a lot of people know, and is related to carps and minnows and all kinds of cool stuff. That is the silver arowana from South America. And they get even bigger than that, which is why we're thinking of getting a pool pond, which would make it look really cool because the fish would be more visible and we'd have cooler visibility, and we'd be trying to get like huge ponds to make it better, like make them more visible and like give them more room to grow, basically, because we're not sure how much bigger the knife fish and the arowana specifically can get in this tank. But we're looking to set up a pool pond, so stay tuned for that video. We're also moving houses, we're gonna be moving houses soon, so there's gonna be a bunch of videos for that of both the reptiles and the fish. So stay tuned for those. We're gonna be coming out with a whole bunch of new videos, guys. Believe me. And so the clown loaches are from, I think, Asia, and they're cool because they get bigger than this too. We've seen bigger ones. We've seen a huge knife fish at a pet store around here called Uncle Bill's. It was probably this long and this wide, and he was giant. Like, he made this guy look dwarfed, and he's actually more visible right now. If you guys want to see him, there's his face, and you can see all of the African lungfish as well. And look at how cool those fish look, guys. The African lungfish, as by the name, is from Africa. It gets 7 feet long, guys. Imagine that guy 7 feet long. That's like taller than me. And it's crazy. And all of these fish can get bigger, and we're gonna be ready for that. We also have the spotted gar, which I just said gar earlier, so better to specify. And they're really cool looking, and I really love this tank because, I mean, it has all of our largest fish in here. Like, we've worked really hard to grow out this arowana and that koi And the knife fish has gotten bigger from when we got it, because he was kind of big when we got him, and he's gotten even bigger. Like, him and the arowana are similar in size. And that's crazy to think about, because we've had that arowana for like a year now. And we're gonna keep it going as long as it'll let us. So, and the dojo too, we've had the dojo for a long time. Like, a lot of these fish we've had for probably about a year now. And it's crazy to look at how big they got in a year. Because the arowana when we first got it was probably this long. And now it's like about the length from my from right here to the tip of my finger. Like, it's big. And the same thing with the knife fish was 8 inches when we got it. And I think he's about 12 now. So about a foot long for both of them. That's not quite this, that's longer than a foot, but you get the idea. They're about a foot long each. Like, it's crazy to think about. And that peacock bass can get like 50 pounds and 3 feet long at least, that I remember. And it's probably bigger than that. And we're doing big things. We're looking to get a red tail. And if we get the pond set up, we're gonna get a huge red tail to put in there. We also have hybrid red tails that we're growing out that we will be releasing, we'll be showing in a new video. So stay tuned for that. We also have other catfish that we're growing out that I will not release the species name, but stay tuned for those videos because they'll also be in a video. And it's so cool, and we're adding more fish. These fish can get huge. So to give you a little backstories of the fish, they're native to Southeast Asia. They're actually endangered in their environment, and their meat is sold as sai or something similar to that. So you can actually buy their meat in the United States. And they're sharks, but freshwater sharks. So, you know, not the real shark, the ones with the calcium skeleton, the ones with the cartilage skeletons that absorb calcium, things that are saltwater, because this is freshwater, so there are no real freshwater sharks. But these guys are really cool. And so we're gonna be adding some massive sharks to our aquarium. Hence on the name we added, because what's cooler than sharks, guys? I mean, come on, sharks are so cool. And if we do get the pool pond, and we will be recording that every step of the way, put in the comments, do you want me to jump in there with the fish one time? Because I'll do it. If this video gets, I don't know, 5,000 likes or something, let's do something easy, 1,000 likes. I'll jump in the pool pond with these fish once we set it up, and I'll swim with them for 5 minutes. If this video gets 1,000 likes, because I'm not super big, so I'm not gonna push for like 100,000, but 1,000. I'll jump in the pool pond with them, and we'll videotape it and everything, and you guys can laugh at me if I get a little scared or whatever. It's fine. I think that would be cool though. Tell us in the comments. Also, we kind of named them, but not really, and there is some leeway with the names. So if you guys want to change the name, let us know in the comments. Tell us what you think we should name these fish. And also, we have a few newer fish that we need a name for. So put names in the comments below. Please, please, please put names in the comments. Look, the knife fish is out right now. The arowana, see, they're similar in size because they were swimming right next to each other. And the gar is decently big too. The lungfish is really cool, and I love the lungfish, honestly, because I've been looking forward to getting one ever since I've heard about it. And the African lungfish is really cool because from an evolutionary standpoint, the axolotl is a fully aquatic amphibian, right? And the African lungfish looks like an axolotl, but without the gills. And I looked it up, I did some research, and they are actually considered fish. So it kind of proves the evolutionary theory just by existing, because it has leg stubs. And it's basically an axolotl if it was a fish without the external gills. So it kind of, by existing, proves Charles Darwin's evolutionary theory, which states that an animal has to be pre-evolved, because this basically has the body plan of the axolotl without the external gills. That's not that big of a leap. So, I mean, it kind of proves it. And Old World and New World didn't separate that long ago, just enough that they have a few different variations of diseases. So it's entirely possible, because axolotls are native to Mexico and these African lungfish are native to Africa. So they kind of, I don't know how to explain it. It's possible that this and the axolotl have an ancient relative, and like every salamander and frog and whatever have an ancient relative, because if you notice, there aren't any saltwater amphibians. This is a freshwater fish. It makes sense. It's not a super far jump that amphibians came out from these fish, stuff like this. And so, I mean, it's possible. Hey guys, so I think now it's time, because I was kind of talking so that we had time to finish out the acclimation. So I think it's time that we add these fish into the tank. So I think now it's time I release the species specifically. So this is an iridescent shark, also known as an iridescent catfish. And so actually they're really considered similar to American catfish. So if you've seen an American catfish, it's kind of similar to that. And so they're endangered in the wild, guys. I didn't know that until I looked it up earlier today. Did you guys? Tell us in the comments below. Did you know that these are endangered in the wild and that you can actually buy their meat here? I didn't, and they're gonna get so much bigger, and they're really big already. So I'm gonna get this one, and let me see if I can hold him up for you guys. Oh, he's actually making a noise. Oh, see guys? Look at it. He's so cool. All right. And now, thank you, cameraman. I'm just gonna, I'm sorry, I did not mean to splash. I didn't realize he would do that. But he's all good. And he's right there, guys. And we have 2 of these. And I think he's big enough. He's definitely big enough. Nothing should be able to eat him. I'm gonna get the other one. The noise he made was cool, though. I've never really heard something like that really a ton before. So here, let me see if I can get him. I almost had him, but he stabbed me with that upper fin. Well, not stabbed, but poked me, really. There, got him. See? He's cool. He's not making a noise like the other one did. I'm gonna get him in faster just because he's smaller. And so these are schooling fish, which is why we got 2. And like I said earlier, these are native to Southeast Asia. There's a specific stream or river. I cannot recall the name of the river right now, but there's a specific river that they're native to, and these are really closely related to African catfish, which are, I mean, not African, American catfish, I'm sorry. That's a mistake on my part. But they're really cool because, so like, most of like channel cats and stuff, you see, they kind of look like them, don't they? And you may not see it from the side, but if you look at them from the top, they kind of resemble them. So, I mean, it makes sense. And being where they're native to, most other animals actually travel a similar distance, because Africa is like the perfect continent for them to come on or travel from. And so freshwater fish probably did the same thing humans did. And once we got to Asia, there's a land bridge and stuff like that. And while it was melting, there was a lot of fresh water that a lot of freshwater fish could travel through, which makes sense. So Asian stuff is actually a lot more closely related to American genes and stuff than anywhere else on the planet, because of how most animals traveled. Like mammoths traveled through a land bridge, and while that land bridge and the sea levels were rising, the land bridge was a lot of glaciers. Those glaciers melt due to the end of the most recent ice age. There's a lot of fresh water that comes out of glaciers. You can go through, and it actually makes sense. So a lot of Asian and South and North American fish are more closely related than, let's say, a European fish to an American fish, which is why there's such a big difference in like Native American genes or Native American fish and European genes in European fish, if that makes sense. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this though, and what you think about the iridescent catfish. They need names, so please put names in the comments. And here's my sister Cadence for some more description or whatever she wants to do, and maybe to ask questions.
Hi, so Kenneth, I don't think you ever mentioned what was your favorite fish in the tank.
I didn't know if it was obvious or not, but the African lungfish, to be honest, I don't know. I just think he's cool, and I've wanted one for a while, so.
Yeah, and you said that iridescent shark catfish, did it stab you in the hand when you picked it up?
A little bit. I'm bleeding, actually, but it's fine.
Nothing your tough guy self can't handle.
Yep.
So if you can't see, which you probably can, we have to keep this fish tank stocked. Like, it's got to be stocked with feeder fish because we want these fish to get even bigger. And like Kenneth mentioned, the pond we're setting up, that's gonna make them grow even more. So when you look for previous videos of that pond, make sure you look for all those feeder fish in there because it's probably gonna be double. And we're gonna hope to get them breeding in there so that we can have a supply for them, for the fish, so that they can get bigger and bigger and
Yep.
get to the max. So Kenneth, did you ever mention how big the iridescent sharks can get?
No. So from what I recall, they can get about 4 feet long.
Because when you get a new fish, you have to research it.
Yeah. So from what I did the research on earlier today when we picked these fish up, they can get about 4 feet long. And I have no clue how much they can weigh, but I'm sure it's a lot because they're catfish, and catfish are usually pretty good about getting fat, basically fat or bigger. So they probably get decently big.
Yeah, and I like, if you probably already saw, but on the iridescent sharks, their big ol' eyes, they zoom in and it makes them look cooler because their eyes are all big, and plus they're darker, so then the only really color is when you go to see their eyes, because they're outside of the eye is white looking when you look at them a certain way. So when you look at that, you see the eye, and that, I just think that's kind of cool. I also think it makes them look confused,
Also, you see how the belly is bright? So that's actually where their name comes from. They're called iridescent sharks or iridescent catfish because when they're young, their bellies are super bright, so it creates kind of an iridescent shade type thing. So it's really cool because it's their stomach is iridescent almost, and the older they get, the darker they get, and they kind of lose that iridescent look. But they're actually called iridescent catfish because when they're young, they have an iridescent glow almost.
Right. Yeah, and also, I don't know if you talked about this already, Kenneth, but the rocks, they are they're glued together so that they don't come up on the fish or anything. And that's honestly a health risk for the fish if your rocks aren't glued down. So I recommend gluing down your rocks when you have a fish tank like this, because fish like to get under there and be under there and hide in sometimes. You can see this dojo doing right now. So if the rock gets up and then the fish goes under, and then the rock decides to come back down, well, your fish is now smashed, and it's gonna be a pancake. You don't want that. So,
yeah.
Glue the rocks down.
Also, fish tend, a lot of fish don't have super good eyes. They mostly go off of feeling sense. So, a fish will bump into the rocks so that it's aware of its surroundings. I've seen the knife fish bump into things because I don't think his eyes are very good. And I mean, he has a big body and a small face, so it makes sense. And so, for his safety, in case he bumps into the rocks or something, they can't fall over because they're glued down, which is another reason we glued them down, just for the safety of the fish.
Right. Yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching this video. Have a great day. Look for more videos.
Yep.
Do the likes for him to jump in the pond.
Yes. So, 1,000 likes, I'll jump in the pond, I promise. Alright, and see you guys in the next video.